everyone. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today to kick off the introduction of the Arts Education for All Act. I want to start by thanking all of you, but also thanking my staff, my hardworking staff who work so hard on the legislation, but also on organizing this event. Andrew, Allie, Al, Natalie, and everyone in my office, thank you. Sometimes people ask me why I care so much about arts education. I was raised by a mother who was a piano teacher and an artist, and music and arts played a strong role in my formative years. And then when my own children were growing up and going through public schools, I saw the importance of arts education, but I also learned how often the arts are either left out or the first to be eliminated when budgets are cut. When I got to Congress, I brought with me my passion for well-rounded public education that includes the arts. And today we're excited to announce the Arts Education for All Act, comprehensive legislation that reinforces the importance of arts education for children in early learning settings, for students in the K-12 schools, in extended learning programs like after school and summer programs, and for students in the juvenile justice system. It makes clear which funding streams can be used for arts education, and importantly, it supports teachers with professional development for arts educators and professional development on arts integration for all educators. Dance, theater, film, music, visual arts, they're all fundamental parts of a well-rounded education. We know students are more engaged in the classroom when arts, music, and other opportunities for creativity are included in instruction. And importantly, arts education helps prepare students for the future. I've heard from scores of employers who say they're looking for people who are critical thinkers, people who can collaborate, come up with creative ways to solve problems. We need that now. And how do students become creative? Arts education. I founded the Congressional STEAM Caucus to highlight the benefits of integrating arts and design into science, technology, engineering, and math. And the Arts Education for All Act, importantly, is also about equity. It's about making sure that everyone has access to the arts, not just those who have artistic families or the resources that allow them to purchase access. Research shows that low-income students and students of color have significantly less access to arts education than other students. For example, a recent study from the American Academy of Arts and Sciences shows that since the 1980s, white students have experienced almost no decline in arts education. Yet during the same period, Black and Latinx students saw sharp declines of 49% and 40% respectively. This is unacceptable. The Arts Education for All Act can help correct this equity gap by making sure that states have plans for arts education and by gathering data on where inequities persist. Now, at present, Congress is working on historic investments in childcare and early childhood education as part of the Build Back Better legislation. And the Arts Education for All bill is a wonderful partner because it will make sure that arts education programming starts early by allowing instruction with childcare development block grant funds. Caregivers and early childhood educators can help our youngest children develop through the arts while also fostering creativity and a love of learning. I envision a better future where everyone can enrich their lives through the arts. And the introduction of the Arts Education for All Act is an important step toward that better future. I want to thank Representatives Shelly Pingree from Maine and Teresa Leger Fernandez from New Mexico for joining me and leading the effort. And I also want to thank the more than 100 national, state, and local organizations that have already endorsed this legislation. Now, I am very excited to introduce our first speaker. The extraordinarily talented actor, Brooks Ashmanskas, grew up in Beaverton, Oregon, in the heart of the district I'm honored to represent. In his inspiring career, he has performed in numerous productions, including 14 Broadway shows, and he's been nominated for 2 Tony Awards, most recently for Best Performance by a Lead Actor in a Musical for his role as Barry Glickman in The Prom. So I'm going to turn it over to Brooks, who's going to talk about what arts education meant for him.
Thank you very much for that lovely, kind intro. I appreciate it. And hello, everyone. As someone who's been a working actor for over 35 years, I am actually thrilled and honored to be able to talk to you today about my experience with arts education, which some would say is vast. Quite simply put, I wouldn't be here today without the support and guidance I received from the arts educators I encountered from the time I was in junior high school in Beaverton, Oregon, at Highland Park Junior High School, which I think they call middle school nowadays. And then I continued to receive it through high school and at Beaverton High School and college and throughout my life. In my profession, while it is certainly an appreciated gift, talent isn't enough. On Broadway, everyone is talented, everyone. What sets one apart is their belief in their talent, their confidence. And this is exactly where arts educators come into play, such a necessary role in a young person's life, at perhaps the most important time in the child's developmental process. It's deeply important that they can find someone, anyone, to support, nurture and challenge, and yes, even celebrate and applaud their talents. As a young boy in school, I found generally that people weren't lining up to celebrate my lovely voice or my knack for tap dancing. So it was very important to me when someone did. And when I was probably about 13 years old, I was taking an art class as an elective, if that word means anything anymore. And I just was interested in it, and I liked art, and took the class. And the teacher was, she was a really cool teacher. And I remember my locker was very near her classroom. And at the end of the day, after school, I'd get my stuff, and she had, this will date me, a record player, and would play albums of really great music. And I thought she was so cool and wonderful. And I respected her and looked up to her. And I remember one day she had asked for some volunteers to help her after school to help put up students' artwork on the walls and rearrange the classroom for her. And I could walk to school. So I was like, yeah, of course. And so a bunch of us stayed after school and we did that for her. And while we did it, she of course had the record player playing. And I remember we were all sort of singing along with the album, and it was one of those albums you knew every song, and it was great. And I felt really safe and free to do that. And I hadn't done it other than in my own bedroom, with the comb. And I remember as I was leaving, she thanked me and she said, you have a really beautiful voice. And no one had ever said that to me before. No one had ever had an opportunity. And she recommended to me that I talk to the drama teacher, and I did. And I guess the point I want to make, I don't want to go on and on about my life, but that one moment of her giving me that compliment, while it just was very sweet of her, it gave me the confidence again that I needed to go talk to that drama teacher, and then to go to the audition and get the part in the musical, and then continue to build my confidence through her help, and go to high school at Beaverton High School and do quite a few shows there, and learn more and 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 more, and devour the arts education that I was offered. It was a gift, and it has put me where I am today, which some might say is, I've been very fortunate and I've been very busy, so that's nice. And I do want to make this point before I leave you alone, is I was thinking about this, and I can't think of one person I've ever met that doesn't have a similar story to mine. Whether they ended up ultimately working in the arts or not. An arts teacher, band, drama, choir, visual arts, whatever it is, an arts teacher has helped them to feel more confident and to feel more grounded, to better handle whatever lies ahead for them in life. And so I want to throw 110% of my support behind this very important legislation. And I also want to say thank you for putting it forward, because this is actually something that isn't against something. It's for something, and it's for kids, And at this right now, as we all know, they need it more than ever, some sort of connection. Yeah. So I thank you for your time, and I thank you for having me, and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you so much, Brooks. What a powerful story and a powerful message about that confidence. Thank you again, Brooks.
Of course,
Next, we're going to hear from another passionate advocate for arts education, singer, songwriter, musician, actor, and record producer, Josh Groban. Josh was unable to attend in person, but he sent this message about arts education and the Arts Education for All Act.
Hi, my name is Josh Groban. I'm a singer, an actor, and a philanthropist, and I am so proud to be supporting Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici and her Arts Education for All Act. I would not be where I am today without a solid arts education, full stop. To have had a place, many places, to express myself, to learn about the power of the arts as it opens up our minds, opens up our worlds. Whether I were to go into the arts professionally or not, having the arts as a foundation to better understand myself and the world around me was vitally important. It was, in fact, quite life-saving for me. And as we all know, everybody who's watching, I know it's the choir we're preaching to, but these programs get cut. It has to start at the top. We need leaders like Congresswoman Bonamici to make sure that programs are protected. It's why I have a foundation called Find Your Light that gives grants to arts programs across the country, and it's why I'm always proud to team up with Americans for the Arts to do everything from raise awareness to testify on Capitol Hill about the importance of the arts in our lives and in our economy as well. So I'm here tonight with a simple request. If you're an arts education leader, please support the Arts Education for All Act. If you're an activist about it like I am, take 2 minutes. Write your local congressman or congresswoman and tell them that you support the Arts Education for All Act. It is groundbreaking on so many levels, and it is so needed now more than ever. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Josh for that powerful message. And he's been a long time advocate for arts education, and it's great to have his support. And now I'm excited to introduce my friend and colleague, the chair of the Congressional Arts Caucus, Congresswoman Shelly Pingree from Maine.
Well, thank you very much, Suzanne, Representative Bonamici. I really appreciate your bringing us all together today. And I just want to say thank you so much for putting this bill together, to your hardworking staff for bringing all these wonderful ideas together. You do a really great job of bringing your passion and understanding of the importance of arts with your understanding of education. And this bill really is a fulfillment of that. So thank you for that. Thank you for the performers who have already spoken and their inspirational message, to all the arts organizations who are supporting this, and that's just so important. And I see my good friend, Danny Hack. We miss you in Congress, Danny, but I know you're doing great work out there, so good to see you too. I can be brief here. I'm very proud to be an arts advocate in the Congress. I'm thrilled that I get the chance to be the chair of the Arts Caucus and chair of Interior Appropriations, where we fund a lot of the arts. But this is exactly the kind of legislation that we need, and I'm really proud to support. One of the reasons I wanted to be involved in the Arts Caucus and in arts funding is I come from one of the most rural states in the nation. I represent Maine, and I'm thrilled to do that. But I have a long understanding of how difficult it is in small rural communities to support the arts and the importance of that for our students of all ages. I got my start in politics by being the chair of the local school board. I live in a town of 400 people, so I know what it is to live in a small town. And I remember the day that we had a budget shortfall and had to cut arts education in our school, and how hard I worked negotiating with my colleagues on the school board to say, look, what if we have some bake scales and some spaghetti suppers, and we just build this back and make sure our kids have those opportunities? And with that foundation, we've been able to continue having arts funding in our school. And I really saw the difference it made in the lives of all kids. The children of fishermen, of plumbers, of artists themselves, but being able to perform on a small stage in front of the community, to learn how to play an instrument, to learn how to paint, the difference in their confidence, their ability to speak in public, the ability to solve problems, and just the way it brought our community and everyone together. And we need that now more than ever. So I know how important it is. I know how important it is to have outside funding for this, because in small communities and in big cities. This is always the first thing on the chopping block, and people treat it like an extra, but it isn't an extra. It's fundamental to our child's development, to all of the things that we know nurture children, develop their brains, and give them economic opportunities in the future. So it's right for so many reasons. I'm thrilled to be a participant and a co-sponsor on this bill. I can't thank Representative Bonamici enough, but we need everybody's support. So it's great to have you all here supporting this, and I look forward to bringing this across the finish line with you.
Thank you so much, Representative. And I also want to welcome our former colleague, Denny Heck, the Lieutenant Governor of Washington. Denny, welcome. Next, I want to acknowledge Grantmakers in the arts who've been so helpful in crafting the legislation. And I'm going to turn it over to their CEO, Eddie Torres, for some remarks. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, Representative Bonamici. And also, I just wanted to say it's a day late, but happy birthday. I wanted to say on behalf of Grantmakers in the arts, hundreds of arts philanthropists, nonprofit and public sector supporters of the arts, but more importantly, on behalf of our nation's children, thank you for introducing the most comprehensive piece of arts education legislation ever introduced in Congress. I know from my own experience, I grew up member of the Latinx community in the South Bronx in the 70s and 80s, and arts education changed the course of my life, and I really owe the course of my life to arts education. Longitudinal studies show that arts education increases literacy, advances math achievement, engages students in school, and motivates them to learn. But as you alluded to, studies have found that schools designated as needing improvement and schools with higher percentages of students of color were more likely to experience decreases in time spent on arts education. And where there are few or no arts courses, the educational picture often includes higher dropout rates, less availability of high-level coursework, poor academic performance. One study found that in more affluent schools, almost twice the percentage of students received instruction in each arts discipline compared with the high poverty schools. And that confirms that access to the arts is directly related to fundamental injustices in the education system. One study found that the positive impacts of arts education is greater in low-income communities. Actually, several studies have found this. The National Endowment for the Arts report found that socially and economically disadvantaged students outperformed their peers when engaged in arts-rich experiences. This includes higher test scores, better grades, higher graduation rates, but also increased college enrollment and dramatic reductions in disciplinary actions. And this is particularly important for students who are at higher risk for dropping out of high school or entering the juvenile justice system. And related to that, students participating in the arts also express greater optimism about their future potential, including the possibility of attending college. So the Arts Education for All Act is more than just an investment in education. It's an investment in equity. It's an investment in justice. And again, on behalf of Grantmakers in the Arts, hundreds of members, but again, on behalf of our nation's children, thank you, Representative Bonamici.
Well, thank you so much, Eddie, for those powerful words and for your support, and especially that really critical message of equity. I again want to acknowledge Representative Luehrsen, who couldn't be with us today, but along with Representative Pingree, is another of our original co-sponsors of this important legislation. And I thank you again, everyone who's spoken so far, especially Grantmakers in the arts, Americans for the Arts, and others who have been working with us along the way. So thanks everyone for joining us. We're happy to take questions from the press and media, and I do want to let you know that shortly, in about 10 minutes, we will be moving into the reception part of the event, and you are all welcome to stay for that, but we wanted to leave a bit of time for questions before we go to the reception. Does anybody from the press have any questions? We must have done such a great job of explaining this. This is wonderful. Well, Eddie, again, thank you. Representative Pingree, thank you. Really grateful for all of you. And of course, the staff from my office and working with the advocates. There are so many people who have contributed. We're really grateful. We are getting some questions in the chat here. Can you give an idea of where in the process the bill is and what happens next in Congress? And that similar question, what are the next steps for the bill? Well, we've introduced the bill. That happened today. We're very excited about that. We have several co-sponsors already. And as we follow it through the process, I know that the co-sponsors as well as I will advocate for the bill to move forward. The assumption is that it will be assigned to the Education and Labor Committee on which I serve. And we'll do all we can. Building this type of support is really critical to moving it forward. The next question is the support bipartisan? And well, does it have bipartisan support? Not yet, but I have to say that the Arts Caucus and the STEAM Caucus have historically been bipartisan, and we'll be working on building that support. And I think the message, particularly the message that Representative Pingree sent about access to the arts and rural communities, this is important across the country. This is not just a piece of legislation that helps students in urban areas, for example. I think about my work over the years with the National Endowment for the Arts, for example. When I've had a couple of chairs from both Democratic and Republican administrations come out to Oregon and visit and look at and experience arts opportunities in rural communities. This is to help bridge that divide and close those equity gaps across the country. And that's something that everybody should agree with. What groups did we consult with in putting together the package? Oh, that's a really long list. I've mentioned some of them today. There is a list. I think the best way to respond to that is to look at the list of endorsing organizations, because there are many. Now, I've had conversations over the years, being a longtime supporter of arts education with educators, with artists, with organizations like Grantmakers for the arts, or in the arts, and with Americans for the Arts. But also, I'm just looking at not really a group, but looking at the research, like Eddie Torres explained. Arts education benefits all students, even students who, and Brooks Ashmanskas mentioned this, even students who don't go on to work in the arts. I mean, Brooks has been very successful in his career, and that, think about what that meant, the powerful words he said about the art teacher who encouraged him, and the experience he had in high school, and given him that confidence. That kind of experience, regardless of what path a student takes in life, that is game changer. That is something that's going to lead to success, no matter what career people end up in. Arts education will help them. So lots of organizations helped. We can publicize a list of endorsing organizations, but many had input, and the research is there to back it up too. What can arts lovers do to help? Contact info for more information. Yes, we will absolutely get that information out. There's a link there to endorse the legislation. And as you heard from Josh Groban as well, contact your representative, contact your senator. Again, this is day one as the piece of legislation is moving forward, and we'll continue to build that kind of support. Annette Newell has a question. Is it tougher to promote arts education as a priority during the pandemic? No, it's even more important. The arts have a way and an opportunity to help us heal, to bring us together. And if you look at what happened during the pandemic, so many people were in their homes alone, and they were watching movies and listening to music and playing video games, and all things that were created by artists. And arts education has a way, an opportunity to to allow for expression when students have been really frustrated with quarantine and remote learning. Give them a way to be creative and express themselves, and that's beneficial. So it's even more important during the pandemic, when it's been really challenging for students and for families to have another way to connect people, to express what they're feeling, and to show creativity and individuality. I do want to note an analogous example, and that's the Americans for the Arts has a program where they work with veterans who had PTSD. It's a very effective, successful program because it allows veterans who are experiencing PTSD to tell their story. It helps them express themselves. And it's a very successful program. The arts can heal, the arts can bring us joy, and that's something that we need more of. And would the bill represent a guarantee of more spending on arts education throughout the country? Well, the goal is to clarify. Right now, there are many funding streams that go to schools, to early childhood education, to the juvenile justice program, and it's not clear that that funding can be used for arts education. This bill is to explain that, to clarify that, to open up opportunities for professional development. And I'll be working, and I don't know if Representative Pingree wants to weigh in here about funding, but this is something I'm going to address in the next portion. But for some of the funding streams, for example, Title IV-A and the Every Student Succeeds Act, that's funding for well-rounded education that includes the arts. Shelly, you want to weigh in on the funding piece?
Unfortunately, we can't hear you, Congresswoman.
Of course, forgot to take off the mute. Since I'm fortunate enough to serve on the committee that funds the arts, the Interior Appropriations Subcommittee, we're always looking for more opportunities to fund the arts, certainly through the NEA and the NEH, but also expanded opportunities. And we've looked at programs that support veterans through the arts to really use the full creativity of how arts funding can support all of us. So I would say it's a very high priority. We make a point of making sure that members from districts all over the country in both parties understand the economic impact of funding the arts. And I think taking it from the educational perspective as well helps people to understand why it's important to invest early, invest in those who can't access arts programs otherwise. And I'm always happy to lend my strong support for arts funding and hope we can do it through this bill as a vehicle as well.
Thank you. Any other questions before we transition over to the reception? You're all welcome to stay. I think it's going to be a great event. Well, thanks everyone for the great questions, and look forward to keeping you all in the loop as we move forward. I just want to emphasize, as we're transitioning as well, this is really critical for students and for equity, but it's also important for the economy. The arts and culture sectors are really critical parts of our economy, but also we need creative and innovative people to solve the challenges of the future. So arts education is not only important for students and in schools and to close the equity gap, but also for future generations. So it's really important to have those creative, critical thinkers out there working on the challenges that face us as a country and a planet. All right, thanks everybody. And I'll ask my capable staff here how we go about transitioning to the reception.
That's right. I will admit our next guest for the reception from the waiting room, and then we can get started. Thanks again to the media who joined.
Thanks, Sally.
It just takes a moment for everyone to join from the waiting room. And it looks like let's see, just need one more minute and then we should have, looks like we have everyone in from the waiting room.
Terrific. Well, thank you, Allie, thank you all my staff. Thanks everyone for joining us. I'm very much looking forward to this reception to celebrate the introduction of the Arts Education for All Act. And I wish we could be together in person celebrating and enjoying the performances from our students, but this is giving us a way to do so and connect everyone. I want to start by recognizing the support we have for the arts and for arts education in Oregon and across the country. And I'm thrilled that so many have already expressed support for the Arts Education for All Act, which is comprehensive legislation we introduced today. So we have with us today advocates and artists who represent a wide spectrum: actors, singers, dancers, painters, filmmakers, music merchants, museum managers, all of whom recognize the importance of arts education. And it's critical to emphasize how essential the creative sectors are to our economy and to our communities. With the challenges of the last year and a half, the arts are more important than ever. The arts connect people, provide a way to help people cope, and the arts can bring joy, something we certainly need more of. And after the pandemic is behind us, one day we'll get to that light at the end of the tunnel. The arts will continue to play an important role in helping us heal and bringing us together. I will continue to work to support the creative sectors and arts education, including my ongoing advocacy for robust funding for the National Endowment for the Arts, the National Endowment for the Humanities, for the Every Student Succeeds Act, particularly the Title IV-A funds for well-rounded education that includes the arts, and for Title I, which provides additional funding to schools with high populations of low-income students and is a critical tool to help close the equity gap through the arts. The Arts Education for All Act will especially benefit our children, the next generation of leaders who we want to be and need to be critical thinkers and creative problem solvers. I'm excited about this effort, and I know we will succeed with your help and advocacy. So in addition to having with me my colleague, Representative Shelly Pingree from Maine, who I believe is still with us, we have with us some wonderful artists. We're going to hear some performances, and then we're going to be truly honored to hear from Dr. Wanda Knight, the president-elect of the American Art Education Association, and Mary Luehrsen from the National Association of Music Merchants. And then for the discussion, we're going to be joined by students, the student performers, but also students from the Beaverton, Oregon School District's Arts and Communication Magnet Academy. So first, we're going to hear a reading from Viola, who's a performer with Northwest Children's Theater and School, a nonprofit organization offering year-round theater classes and camps. So Viola, we'll turn it over to you.
Hi. I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance so that which came to me as a seed goes to the next as a blossom, and which came to me as a blossom goes on as a fruit. Thank you.
Viola, that was magnificent. Thank you so much. What a beautiful performance. And now I'm going to recognize Dr. Knight, president-elect of the National Art Education Association. Dr. Knight.
Thank you so much. Wow, Viola. Thank you for that wonderful performance. Colleagues, I'm truly happy and honored to join you during this truly momentous occasion. I'm Dr. Wanda B. Knight, Assistant Dean for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and Associate Professor of Art Education, African American Studies, and Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies at Penn State University, Harrisburg campus. And I'm President-elect of the National Art Education Association, referred to also as NAEA. The National Art Education Association harnesses the power of the visual arts, design, and media arts to educate and enrich the lives of all learners and communities, especially those who are members of historically marginalized groups, and serves as a catalyst for developing creative and culturally competent future generations. You know, every young person deserves access to a full educational experience, inclusive of a rich arts education taught sequentially across all grade levels. You know, as a former visual arts teacher, I know firsthand from my classroom experiences the power of arts learning to develop language skills, social skills, decision-making skills, and risk-taking skills, among other areas, even including things like collaboration, critique, dedication, and on and on. I saw youth gain confidence as they were required to step outside of their comfort zone. Because youth don't have to follow prescribed pathways in the arts, they learn to approach tasks from different perspectives, particularly when consistently challenged to solve problems. I noticed learners having greater perseverance when they made mistakes, as they learned mistakes offer feedback and present opportunities to learn how to succeed the next time. Two, I noticed youth developing nonverbal communication skills, as arts learning offers visual and performative means of communication. At one point I served as an inaugural principal of an arts-focused school. Two, I saw high levels of student engagement because the arts were integral to what we did and all of our academic subjects. I even witnessed fewer absences and fewer discipline problems, particularly during arts-focused activities. Two, as a researcher, I recognize that arts education research can inform classroom arts education praxis, and classroom praxis can inform arts education research, which is sorely needed to support culturally competent teaching and arts education. Even so, the educational system oftentimes does not hold the arts in high esteem because the arts are not considered as vital academic subjects and that are needed for holistic education. During times of budget crisis or otherwise, the arts are often the first subject to be eliminated from the curriculum. Consequently, underserved and under-resourced communities experience disparities concerning access to the arts. So the Arts Education for All Act is an opportunity to dismantle systemic barriers as they relate to arts learning access. Likewise, this legislation is a great opportunity to further establish that arts education is essential for every learner in K through 12 settings. Thank you, Representative Bonamici, for your support and your leadership in this endeavor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Knight, with that powerful message about the importance of arts education, but also the importance of arts education for all. We appreciate your being here and your support and your work. And now I'm pleased to share a recording of a student performance of Maite, who's a student with Play It Forward, a nonprofit organization in Oregon that offers musical instruments, lessons, and inspiration to students. Thank you so much, Maite. That was beautiful. And what a great opportunity for Play It Forward to help more students have access to music. So I want to now turn it over to Mary Luehrsen from the National Association of Music Merchants. Mary?
Thank you so much, Representative Bonamici, and a special thanks for your long-standing support for arts education. Proudly, the NAMM Foundation awarded Representative Bonamici its Support Music Award a few years ago for your firm belief and steadfast support for the arts and its importance in the lives of every child, family, and community. We can't thank you enough for all you are doing to assure arts education access and opportunity for all. Arts education advocates Bernie Williams, jazz guitarist and Yankee baseball champion, and Eric Whitaker, composer, conductor, and creator of the virtual choir phenomena, join the hundreds of individuals, organizations, and businesses that celebrate and support the Arts Education for All Act and mark the launch of the bill today. I encourage all of us in our community contacts and networks to share the act and sign on with our endorsements. Arts learning and making is a lifeline for children and young people, particularly now as they return to school after the COVID period and in all times. The arts are an intrinsically important part of the curricula, offer pathways for learning, and support students' well-being through the social and emotional connections that are uniquely part of arts education and that we've heard and witnessed so remarkably in our time together today. The arts tap the passion and the innate abilities of every child. And this important bill, the Arts Education for All Act, helps by opening up eligible funding and advanced opportunity for arts learning for all children. And with the hundreds of organizations, individual and businesses that are supporting this bill at this hour, I like to say it's almost like having that many candles on a birthday cake. It's my understanding that yesterday was Congresswoman Bonamici's birthday, and we salute and we thank you with gratitude for your ongoing belief and support for arts education for all. And let's all get behind this, and let's all make this a cake of gratitude with hundreds and hundreds of candles burning on it, expressing our belief and support for this important act going forward. Thank you, and thank you all for being here today.
Thank you so much, Mary, for the kind words and the birthday wishes, but also the invitation to, yes, please sign on and support the bill. There is a link in the chat to endorse the bill. And we're really excited to have, as Mary said, more than 100 organizations, and the list is growing already. So now I'm really looking forward to the discussion with this amazing group. Again, thank you to the student performers and your families. We're also excited to have with us today 3 students from Beaverton's Arts and Communication Magnet Academy, a wonderful public arts magnet school in the Beaverton, Oregon School District. I know it well because my daughter is an alum of ACMA, the Arts and Communication Magnet Academy. So we have with us today Ava, Sydney, and Daya, students from Beaverton School. And then I believe Viola, and is Maite with us as well? Well, to all of the students, okay, all of the students who are here today, I'd like to start the discussion by listening to you. Could you please share with us what arts education has meant to you? And I'll just turn it over to our students. That's who we really want to hear from now in our discussion. So it looks like the ACMA students are all there together in one Zoom box. So I'll start with you, ACMA students. What does art education mean to you?
I guess I can start with that. Also, can you hear us okay?
We can hear you, but can you say your name first as you're speaking,
yeah.
and then we'll include Viola as well. Go ahead.
My name is Ava Ivy. I'm a senior here at Arts and Communication Magnet Academy. I've had the opportunity to attend the school since 6th grade. You know, I don't even know where to begin with what arts education has done for me. You know, I'm currently in the process of applying to colleges and writing my college application essay. And it took me a while to think about what I wanted to write about. And then I decided I should write about music. I am a vocal musician here at ACMA, but I also have a lot of experience playing other instruments. You know, I basically accredit music to where I am today. In 3rd grade, I started playing the drums. And before that, you know, I did not have a great academic sense. I wasn't super social. I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. And then, you know, I started playing music and that all changed. You know, it's this crazy timeline that I can draw and connect to, you know, my friends that I have made today, my role in the school that I am, like my academic like ability is all accredited to music. You know, I have so much gratitude for ACMA. and a place at the school where this has been cherished and this has been prioritized. Yeah, I'll turn it over to my fellow ACMA students.
Thank you, Ava.
Yes. I'm a senior here at ACMA and I am a dancer. I actually grew up in India doing an Indian classical dance for 10 years, and then I moved to the States and started ballet. And I think that arts education really gives you a different perspective on normal classes. Like, we're all in AP literature this year and we're doing the Iliad. And one of the projects to learn about the characters in the Iliad is to teach their stories to the class through art forms. I think participating, like Ava's writing a song, we have people doing like telling stories through jewelry making, we have sculpture. I think it's just a really unique and creative way to learn stuff. And that's a very common trend through ACMA classes is, I mean, even our math classrooms have drawings of mathematicians on the walls, which I don't think a lot of people can find the connection between like STEM and art, but it's definitely there. I'm someone that wants to go on to like a chem physics major as a dancer. And I think it's definitely helped me in terms of like the obedience to like work through it. And I owe so much to this school and to the people and to the teachers there. So this bill really does mean a lot to students.
Thank you for sharing your experience. And when you said a lot of people don't see the connection between STEM and the arts, that's STEAM. And I think about Leonardo da Vinci, a very famous artist, but also was an amazing scientist of his time. Okay, next we have one more ACMA student, and then we'll get to Viola.
Hi, I'm Sydney. I'm also a senior here. And yeah, much like Ava and Dia said, arts has really changed my whole path in life. I was a homeschool elementary kid. I didn't know really what I wanted to do. I just wanted to try everything. And I was really lonely. I didn't have a lot of friends because homeschool makes it hard. So I started in the arts, and that ended up leading me to ACMA. And I deal with anxiety and just, I'm not a very social person, but the arts have helped me learn how to like express myself, how to be more confident in who I am. I'm a performer, so I've gotten lots of opportunities to stand up in front of a lot of people, which scares me, but it's made me a much better person. It's made me who I am today.
What a powerful message. Thank you so much to our students from Beaverton's Public Arts and Communication Magnet Academy. Thank you so much. I do want to note that in an earlier portion of the program, a former Beaverton High School student, Brooks Ashmanskas, who is now a very successful actor and Tony-nominated Broadway actor, said that it was his art teacher at Beaverton High School who gave him that confidence. And I heard that from you, ACMA students, that arts can build that confidence, and it's so important to students regardless of what path they take. If they go on to be an artist in their career or any other pathway, that confidence is really critical. Viola, are you still with us? Great, I see it. Would you tell us what arts education means to you?
What I think arts education means to me, it's helped me a lot through when people have commented on saying that I was Chinese or Japanese, which I'm not, and, making me seem like I'm something I'm not. And it's helped me express what I really feel. And taking classes at Northwest Children's Theater and my music and art teacher helping me at school has really showed me how to express myself through the arts. I even wrote my own play about my experiences, and with the help of Northwest Children's Theater and my teachers. So, yeah.
Oh, that is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. I do want to again thank all of the students. I know you're busy and sometimes it's hard to find the time in your busy schedule, but thank you, because hearing from you is really important. The Arts Education for All Act is designed to close equity gaps, because some students just don't have access to arts education, and that's unacceptable. Arts education is a really important part of well-rounded education. And that's why the Arts Education for All bill is so important. So again, in the chat, there's a place to see the endorsements already for this important piece of legislation. there's a place to add your endorsement of support, whether it be on behalf of an organization or as an individual. And there's also, this is important as well, a link for you to contact your member of Congress to let your member of Congress know that you support arts education. Thank you to Americans for the Arts for providing that link, and Grantmakers in the Arts. Thank you for your help in advocating, but also for your longstanding support for arts education and for joining us today and for your input in crafting the legislation. We look forward to working with all of you. Dr. Knight, thank you for your powerful, powerful words. Arts educators change lives and for the better. So thank you, everyone. I don't know if we are going to take questions now. I'll ask my staff if we have time to do that, if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, you should have time. We have, I think, 10 more minutes if you'd like to.
Oh, terrific. Great. Well, does anybody have any questions? We're happy to answer them. I don't know if Representative Pingree is still with me, but she was with us for a while. Representative who's the chair of the Congressional Arts Caucus. She is an original co-sponsor of the bill, along with Representative Leger Fernandez from New Mexico. So we have strong support on day one with a wonderful list of endorsements. Does anybody have any questions? I'm seeing some thanks here. Really excited to launch this and to have all of you participating today. I wish students, thank you again to the students. I wish you the best. I can tell from hearing your stories how much arts education means to you. And I saw it not only with my own children going through school, but as a parent volunteer before I became a policymaker. What a difference it makes in classrooms to have the arts. I'm the founder and co-chair of the Congressional STEAM Caucus. That is an important part of making sure that our science, technology, engineering, and math also have a creative component, because we want creative scientists and creative engineers and creative mathematicians. So I'm really excited to work on that as well. Yes, I saw a comment about the juvenile justice piece. There are provisions in the bill that will help bring arts to students who are in the juvenile justice system, and also to people reentering the workforce from the justice system. Really critical piece of the bill as well. And another equity piece, the National Endowment for the Arts has a wonderful program that works with veterans who have PTSD, and the arts help them heal. And so the arts have a wonderful component of an ability to help people heal. And so the inclusion of juvenile justice and reentry programs is important as we recognize that the arts benefit everyone. So again, the legislation will help with early childhood education. If we can get young students in early childhood learning engaged in the arts and create in them that love of learning and that opportunity to be able to express creativity and individuality. And then in the K-12 system through the Every Student Succeeds Act, there's a section of that was the replacement of No Child Left Behind, which I was happy to work on to put more focus on well-rounded education and less focus on teaching to the test, which is one of the reasons why the arts were cut, was because they weren't a tested subject. The Title IV-A grants are for well-rounded education that includes the arts. So I'm excited for that portion of it. And then as well, the juvenile justice piece. So we really want to use this as an opportunity to expand arts education for all. So
Congresswoman, I think we have a comment from Jaime, the father of one of the
students. Great.
You can go ahead and unmute if you'd like to speak now.
Jaime, are you with us? So you are muted, it looks like. Well, it doesn't sound like Jaime's in. Jaime, do you have a question? Comment? Well, it looks like Jaime is still muted. Maybe if you could put it in the chat, we could answer it if it's a question. Anyone else? I am seeing lots of thanks. I appreciate that. We really can appreciate. Oh, Michael Allen Harrison. Wonderful. Thank you for joining. Are you on the Zoom, Michael Allen Harrison?
Yes, I am.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
Welcome.
I'm sorry Jaime's having a trouble with his with the audio. But he's the father of Maite, and I think he wanted to talk on behalf of what a difference it's made to his family, not just to his daughter. And I believe his family, they've experienced, I think, about 7, 8, or 9 deaths because of COVID. And one of the things that has, kept them together is Maite's heart and soul participating in music, and also how her growth as a person and her confidence and what it's meant to their family. So it's also given the family a focus of somebody that they're watching rise, not just as a musician, but as a human being and someone who is gaining confidence and losing some of that shyness and being able to come forward and show who you are. And so that's one of the biggest effects that the activity. Oh, we got him now?
Yeah,
bueno. Oh, there he is. So I'll let him speak now.
Well, and yeah. Michael Allen Harrison, thank you so much for joining us. Those who don't know, Michael is a renowned pianist here in Oregon, and what a powerful message too. Thank you, Jaime.
Sí, bueno, disculpe, no puedo hablar mucho inglés, pero no sé si puedo hacerlo en español.
Can somebody translate? Do we have a translator? Oh, Michael Allen Harrison gave us a powerful message about what music has meant for your family as well as your daughter.
Yes, I also listened to her to him, and I appreciate it for for support to my daughter. This organization changed my life, changed my daughter's life, because I know she have this talent she get to the music, because I have for my family, for my grandfather is a music, and Maite have this talent. I appreciate for everything. I'm very happy. She's a very, very nice girl. My daughter, and she like the piano. I know she have this talent. I appreciate it for everything. Like I see my surprise because change my family, and my all family changed because my niece, my cousin, listen to my tape when she tried to the piano, and everybody wanted to try to the piano because she's very, very working good, and change my life and change my life for my family and everything. I appreciate it for everything, I'm very happy, and thank you.
Jaime, thank you for that powerful message. And we're sorry to hear about the loss your family has gone through during this pandemic, but it's really inspiring to hear what piano has meant, not just for Maite, but for your family. And it shows the power of music and the arts to heal, but also to build that confidence that we heard so much about. So I wish you and your family well, Jaime. Thank you to you and Maite. And thank you to everyone. Again, do we have any more questions? I think we're right almost up on the time, but if there's any other question, we're happy to answer them. All right. Well, just again, my appreciation to all of you for joining, for your support, and for your advocacy. I'm excited and inspired by what I've heard today from all of you. It just reinforces my commitment to doing all I can to make sure that arts education truly is available to all students. So thank you, everyone. Please sign on. Please keep in touch. And thank you for your passion and your advocacy.